I'm Mike with Adrenaline Barbecue Company, and today we're going to do a hot and fast backyard brisket out on the S&S Kamado. Coming up right now. So we've got about a 15.5, almost 16 pound brisket here. All I did to prepare this brisket for today's cook is unpackage it, trim it down. Now when it comes to trimming, I try to just keep everything simple. I want my fat side down to about 1/4 inch, and I want to get as much of the hard fat off the brisket as possible. That's not going to benefit the cook, it's not going to render down. I'm also trying to get as much yield out of it as I can. Now to prepare the Kamado for this cook, I placed a few chunks of wood underneath my unlit coals, lit the coals in 2 places, and just allowed it to come up to temperature. You want to choke back your vents when you start getting to about 100 to 125 degrees of your goal temperature. Our goal temperature for today is 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Once I was done with the trimming, I did our salt brine technique on this brisket simply by placing some kosher salt on it and putting it in the fridge, covered in plastic wrap overnight. You can do that anywhere from 24 to 48 hours or even more before the cook. The night before the cook, I season this brisket with our Not Just for Beef rub. One of the things I love about the Not Just for Beef rub is the ability to give this a good coating without having to worry about over salting. Now there's nothing left to do but get this brisket out on the cooker. So let's get outside, have some fun, and enjoy this cook. We're just placing some wood blocks that we're going to be putting this brisket on to keep the moisture moving off of it as it cooks. All right, it's that easy. We're officially cooking. I'm going to keep an eye on this brisket, and I'm going to spritz it every hour or so, or as I see fit. We're going to use a mixture that's been used on our channel before. 1/3 water, 1/3 cranberry juice, 1/3 pomegranate juice. I'll do that as often as I think I need to until we develop that perfect bark. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this cook with me. Okay, it's been about 4.5 hours now, and my internal temperature is around 170. My bark's where I want it, and I'm ready to wrap. Let me show you what it looks like. So we've got a nice coverage of bark here, and the way you can tell your bark is set is when you touch it, it's not moving. That's how you know your bark is set. So we are now going to wrap this in a double layer of foil. Okay, it's in a double layer of foil. It's back on the cooker. I'm going to choke back the vents just a little bit to lower the temperature as this finishes off. Now your normal finish spot with the brisket is between 200 and 205. Every piece of meat is different. Sometimes they can be lower, sometimes they can be higher. What I have found with hot and fast briskets is that sometimes they do need to get a little bit higher than 205. So we're just going to watch this. We're going to check for tenderness. The tenderness is the most important thing. When we hit the tenderness we're looking for, it's going to be time to pull it and rest it. It's been about another hour, and we're sitting up around 204, 205. I've checked it once, and it was a couple degrees difference from the flat to the point, so we're going to check it again right now. This is really nice and tender. There's a little bit of resistance here. All right, we are going to wrap this back up and give it about 5 more minutes, maybe 10. I gave this about 10 more minutes. We're sitting up around 207, 208, and it's probing really tender, so it's time to get this off and into a cooler for some rest. It's resting in the cooler now. This is the hardest part, is waiting this out until it's time to slice in. So I'm going to take this inside. We're going to rest this for at least an hour and a half. And the next time you see me, I'll have this on a cutting board ready to slice and reveal for you guys. I'll see you then. All right, we rested this about an hour and a half. For the last 20 minutes or so of that rest, which I didn't film, I just vented the top. Now this brisket is very jiggly, and this is hot and fast. You can do this. What do you say we get right into these money slices? Just take a look at that. Got a beautiful smoke ring. This is very juicy. Just take a look at how beautiful that is. We got a beautiful smoke ring. It's very, very tender. Bend test A+. And we did this in less than half the time it would take to do a traditional 16-pound brisket. Let me just go ahead and grab a piece, make a cut. Beautiful bark, very tender, very juicy. Let's see how it tastes. It's tender, it's juicy, that bark is just outstanding. Try this at home. You can do it. I want to thank you for joining me today and spending time with me. Till next time, remember, 2 zones are better than 1. And I'll see you on the next video.